No, why would we get... You know, it's like, are we allowed to play a bit of music? Hello, everyone. Are we allowed to play a bit of music occasionally?
YouTube will kill us. Even a snippet.
Kill us?
Yeah.
It's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Overreaction, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to say murderers and chop us up into pieces and kill our channel.
I think he was speaking figuratively.
I don't know what that means, but that's good.
Yeah.
Is that, what is that? Figuratively?
It's just a big word.
Do you know what it means?
I know what it means.
Do you ever have those moments where people say, what does that mean? You go,
Yeah.
I know how to use that word, but I'm not...
Most days throughout the day, several times.
Because of music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in music, isn't there? A lot of, is it Italian words?
Oh, yeah. The in theory, about speed and tempo and how
and
to
all
be
that,
played,
yeah.
It's mostly in Italian. Sometimes it's German.
Why is that?
I don't know. Mostly Italian because when classical music was big in Italy, and opera, obviously, stuff like that was Italian.
Was it?
Yeah.
I need to know this stuff.
And so a lot of the vernacular from music, that's another big word for you.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
What?
The common language being used at the time is Italian.
Why?
So allegro, allegretto, pianissimo, forte,
I thought I
fortissimo.
was trying to learn Italian once, but I didn't, obviously. I don't know why I did that. I think I had to set it as a goal.
Yeah, one of them.
I was like, I need to set a goal, and I think I will set learning a language as a goal.
That's a fucking
and
big
that
goal.
is my goal now.
That
Are
is
you
a pretty
learning a
big
language?
goal.
Yes, I am. That is my goal. I've done 30 language sessions in 45 days.
Yeah.
Do you care about it? Not really.
Well, you're not going to learn a language in 30 sessions.
Also, there's not a lot of use for Italian where I am.
In the Malvern Hills.
Yeah, unless I go into me local...
Delhi.
Yeah, start rapping Italian with people. So anyway, I wanted to cover something with you today because it's something that's actually on my mind a lot at the minute. And that is the fact that I'm coming towards the end of my 30s.
Okay.
And I think this must be the same in any decade of your life, possibly. But I'm starting to feel like my time is slipping through my hands.
Yeah, I get that.
And I don't know how to word it better. Then I'm like, I feel like time's speeding up on me.
It is. Time does speed up as you get older.
Am I running out of time? That sounds so stupid saying that. I'm not running out of time, but it's like, oh God, I don't want my time to be going this quick.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm nearly 50, so I'm kind of at a similar junction point, but 10 years later. But I will start this off by saying I was way more bugged out.
Hang on.
When I was...
Pause, there's a roadie here.
Get you up a little bit because you sat higher.
He that shall never be seen has been seen.
Hey, yeah, it's like Voldemort. Yeah. So anyway, start again because...
So...
this is right up in my grill now. No, stay there. I'm fine. I will improve my posture.
There you go.
My chiropractor did say, put your mirror in your car so that you always need perfect posture so you'll know when you're not in perfect posture.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So maybe I should have my microphone.
I need to
So tell me something, isn't it?
So in terms of coming to end of a decade, because it is quite symbolic, isn't it? It's like 10 years and, going from 30 to 40 to 50 is kind of the like chapters in your life, I suppose. I was far more bugged out by turning 30 than I was about turning 40 and subsequently about to turn 50.
When you're 50?
October.
We need a party. We need a wisdom on tap.
Party.
We
can do that.
We need a live event in a theatre. Hello, everyone. Like...
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
For charity.
Yeah.
What's the big charity up here?
The Mark Ellis Turning 50 Fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one.
The Turning 50 Fund.
Yeah.
We could do that. Anyway, moving on. So you were more bugged out about being 30.
Yeah, I was really... When I got to 28, I had a real issue with turning 30. And I think it was mostly to do where I was in life, and it's always about that really, isn't it? It's like I wasn't where I thought I would be when I was probably 20 or 15 at 28 compared to where I actually was. And I think it was that was bugging me a bit. But I also think that when you're in your 20s, you are still very, very young. So 20 to 30, or 29 to 30, I should say, seems like such a big deal. And I bugged out so much about it that by the time I got to 30, I really didn't give a shit. I was ready for it because I did it at like between 28 and 29 almost. And I thought the same thing would happen when I got to your age, when I thought when I get to 38, 39, I'll start freaking out about turning 40. And I really didn't. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
And turning 50 is not particularly bothering me either.
You look good for 50.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
A few people say that.
You're using some
don't
kind of
know why.
moisturiser or something.
Oil of Ulay.
What have you like? Get in. No, I'm actually starting to feel this. Like, I've even started to describe myself as 40. Even I'm 2 years away. How old are you? Oh, nearly 40. I know, I'm 2 years away from 40.
What is it that's bothering you about it?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm going to talk to you about it.
Okay.
Is this element of like, am I getting old? I'm
Yeah, you
not
are getting
unhappy
old.
with my
Of course
life.
you're getting old.
Yeah, but maybe I don't feel quite ready to be 40.
Tough shit.
Yeah, like it's... And also, I think what's speeding up my time is my little boy
Yeah.
seems to change
Yeah.
on a weekly basis.
That is a tough one.
And it's speeding. And I'm like, am I missing out? Am I missing some stuff here? Like, am I... And I know I'm not because I spend a lot of time with him. And I've made a conscious effort in my life to spend as much time with him as possible. I mean, I had this conversation with Mark, almost not to the detriment of my business and career.
Yeah. You're just slowing down the progress,
But
maybe.
certainly, like, I probably, could do a lot more if I was willing to sacrifice more time there. But I also know from speaking to a lot of people I work with who are really got big businesses and are older, they're like, I wish I'd have spent time because you can be a success in your 50s, 60s, 70s.
You can get that time for your business back. You can't get that time with your kids.
He said
back.
once they're gone, you know.
Yeah.
And so I suppose this part of you's, I think we've spoken in previous episodes a little bit about this. It's pull to do more.
Yeah.
And this parent, it's like a real melting pot. So I don't know whether it's that. I just see him and he's like, oh, he's just chatting to me. He's off to school.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem 5 minutes ago. Because I think they develop at such a rapid pace between maybe 3 to 5, I don't know. Then I almost feel like it's speeding my time up. Yeah. I'm starting looking and going, like, how many more days have I got with you just, jumping into bed and being like, do you want to cuddle, Dad? Yeah. And me going,
I'll just tell you this blew my mind. I think it was an Australian radio presenter. And she said, the elements of your children that leave, she said, you don't find out till maybe 2 weeks later that habit or that behaviour is gone now.
It's gone, yeah.
And she said, there's this constant grieving through a child's childhood where you're in delight with everything, but you're also like, what do they call that? Where you're in both modes. So there's this grief and she said the grief is delayed. The thing's gone and you didn't get time to say goodbye to
John
it.
Brady wrote about this. I love John Brady. He actually wrote about this.
Never heard of him.
Amazing.
There's a lot of people you talk about and I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think it's because I don't talk about like necessarily influencer style.
Right. Oh, it's because
coaches.
I'm not as well
no, what I mean is
in the people of your...
No. You would know, I think, if I spoke about Jay Shetty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, or Mo Gab.
Gordat.
Yeah, but if I say, Stephen Cutler possibly, you might went, who?
Oh.
Or, like I said, John Brady built Precision Nutrition, one of the biggest coaching companies in the world, nutrition.
Okay.
You'd be like, who? But I suppose this, like you pulling out musicians who I go, what?
Yeah.
Who the hell's that?
Yeah.
Whereas you would know, I would know them all.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? In the public eye, so to speak. But he wrote about this and it kind of got me, it's weird because, obviously you pick up on things, I picked up on that post because I was contemplating it. I was just on holiday and I was like, oh, wow, you're a little boy. When did this happen? And it wasn't like bad, it was great, but it was like, you got little mates on holiday. Like, what's going on? Like, how you play? What? He's got this little personality, and he's, not luckily, but happily, he's quite a bubbly little, confident little boy, which I never was.
Really?
No. I don't know, what kind of boy were you? Were you the boy who went to a playground and went, will you play with me? Or were you the one who kind of just went, no, I want to play on my own?
I was, my mum and dad always tell me that I was just like a leader when I was young, yeah.
He's like that. He's like, do you want to play with me? And this kid's will be like, no. And he'd be like, okay. do you want to play with me? And they find someone, they go, yeah. And they go, great. And then they're like playing tag. And you're like, I'd have been like, don't talk to me, anyone.
Really?
I was like that as a kid, yeah.
Why? Were you shy?
Yeah, I
Or
think I
just
must have been really
mardy?
shy. I don't know. I just wasn't very good.
At the social stuff?
Yeah.
Well, you develop it at different stages, I guess.
Still like it now. Don't talk to me.
I think that's because you're youngest. You're the youngest brother. Right?
Yeah. I had older brothers by about 10 years. Possibly I just hang out with them.
Might be that.
But anyway, I suppose I just went on holiday and I thought, oh, is my life speeding up? Maybe, I think you're right. It's the arrival of a child. They develop and they grow.
Yeah.
But I look and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want it to be moving this quick. I don't want you to go to school.
Yeah.
I don't, no.
Every
Stay
parent,
here for a few years.
we all go through that.
Do we?
Yeah. Well, I think good parents do, yeah. If you're thinking, I can't wait till you fuck off at 18, then you're not particularly a good parent, are you?
Oh, you're certainly struggling. So that's natural.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Have you felt that?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that with my daughter. My daughter's 8. She was 8 last week. And it's not so much those milestones. Like for my partner, Lisa, she'll be like, I can't believe she's 8. And it's not those things. For me, like the other day, I was walking behind her and I noticed the legs were longer than they were before. And I was like, shit, she's getting really tall.
Yeah.
And then the other day I turned around and looked at her in the car and she just looked a bit different. She just looked facially a bit older. It's little things like that, not rather than birthdays and, you know. So I notice it in a different way to her mum, but I still notice it. And I don't know. I think part of me, because I was a dad so late, I was 42 when she was born.
Wow.
I don't find myself having those same thoughts maybe as often as you do, or to such a level where it's making me feel older. I just feel blessed that I've got her. There's no more coming because I've made sure of that. Medically speaking, shall we say.
Right. I was gonna say, you might add some context to that, maybe.
Yeah. You could take that phrase both ways if you wanted to. So she's the only one. Obviously, I have stepchildren as well that I love dearly, but she's my, flesh and blood. But I don't know, maybe I'm living in a fucking dream world where I'm not realising it, but I don't have that kind of type of oh my God, she's getting older so quickly, because I fully intend to be her mate and around as her dad till the day that I die. In fact, my mission to live to the ripe old age of 100 is about her, not me. I want to be around as long as I physically can.
As well as you can.
As well as I can.
Yeah.
With her, not to look after her, but just to hang out with her. I heard something really cool a couple of years ago. I was visiting some family down south and met one of their family friends, and we were just having a barbecue and we were just chatting. And his daughter, she's about 30, he's about 65. They just had this really cool dynamic, the way that they were interacting. And there's a guy, his name's Tom, and I don't know him very well, but I've met him a few times. I just click with him. And just one of these guys, I'm like, you're cool. I want to be like you when I'm older. Do you know what I mean? Cool guy. And I was saying to him, what's it like getting older, being older? And because he seemed relatively young mentally.
Yeah.
And he said the best bit about getting older is when your children become your friends. And that proper hit me. I was like, shit, I never thought of that. That's ace.
I was chatting to his mum and I was saying, what if he don't like you? What if that, imagine and this is the reality for some people, where they fall out, or I just can't imagine him going, I haven't been down to see you for a couple of years, Dad. I'd be like, wait, I couldn't, all those little things. Yeah. I think I'm in this I don't know. I've got the fly in the nest syndrome, 15 years too early.
Yeah,
it's just I'm preempting it. It's God, I'm losing him. He's like, no, you're not. But I've just felt getting older, and I've also found I'm really enjoying this period of my life in many ways.
Great.
And sometimes you don't want that to end.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
I don't really want this to end.
So it's not about turning 40 then, is it?
I think it's just a number, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm starting to feel that speeding up of my life that I never felt at 33, Like you said, at 30, I wasn't bothered about being 30 one iota.
Yeah.
I never thought, oh my God, I'm 30. But 40, I'm almost feel like, ooh. Yeah, you're probably right. It's not the age necessarily.
I think it's
where
the
I'm at
stage
this
in
time in my
life, yeah.
life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't really want this to
Yeah.
go.
But how great is that? Like, you're basically telling me your life's so good that you don't want it to change. I mean, and yet you've got a business where people are coming to you going, my life's fucking shit.
Yeah, some element of it, yeah. And it's not always that
Not that bad.
No,
but
yeah, but
there's things they need to work on.
I want to improve. Yeah. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's got problems. It's got, God, it's got things that you're working on. But I suppose there's an element of like, I think I did a lot of grunt work between 29 and 35. Like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for?
Which I didn't do. Which is
Analysis and self kind of trying to weigh up and sort, God, I've never smelled this microphone before.
No. Do you know what that is? I was just going to say, can you smell that? That's the artist next door. I think he's using solvents.
Oh, really?
Can you smell it?
Oh, God.
It smells like glue.
Is it not this?
No.
It smells like,
I can smell it as well.
do you know what it smells like? Caulk. Is it caulk?
Yeah.
It sounds like someone's painting and
It
decorating.
smells like a solvent.
That'll be him. Yeah.
Beautiful
You'll be
smell.
No, that's not good for your brain cells, that, mate.
Is it not? No. Oh,
You smell it?
it's a legal high, isn't it?
I can smell
Anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, what were we talking about before I got high? On solvents? Now I'm aware of it. I'm
so
like,
basically, you were saying that because you did a lot of work on yourself in your
yeah,
late
I think
20s,
they were
early
quite
30s.
hard work.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. You know, it's not the age, is it? It's where you're at.
I think so. I think you
I-
compare
I-
yourself.
You're making
don't
me
you?
reflect on myself right now. I feel like I'm
think-
getting coached.
I think there's a lot of merit in the concept of that they seriously do transform at an alarming pace. If you look at, because how old's Ari now?
4.
4, right? So
Cool name.
so I can talk.
Thank you.
I'm the only one here who can talk 0 to 10. So we watched 3 change from 0 to 10 in like a crazy amount of time.
10 years, funny enough.
And it
Yeah, how long did that take, Mark?
solvent. That solvent always helps my maths. But the development that you witness in that, it's still 10 years. It's still 10 years as a 50 to 60 year old or 30
Yeah,
to...
that
so-
makes sense. I think, yeah, then if we're looking at it, I just know a lot of people come into my world where you feel like maybe life's passing me by.
I was going to add this to it, Si. You know, when you said a second ago, Mark said about the people, you did the grunt work prior to the Bairns coming along. Some people haven't and start when the kids are there.
And that's
and
what
you know,
happened to
when you
me.
talk about capacity,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
hard
bit,
work.
Yeah.
I always say that. I can't imagine trying to do some of the stuff I did at 30.
You must, I mean, having met all your clients, would you not agree that you doing that at that young age is quite unusual?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the youngest people in the room where I was
Yeah.
consistently.
I think that's definitely...
And I think, if I look back, they were tough years. And yeah, they were. I suppose that's why I probably wasn't bothered about being 30, in essence.
maybe, yeah.
I'm probably looking at my
Distracted.
30s going, well, he's better be better.
Right.
I'm probably looking at my 40s going, God, I hope they're as good as my 30s.
Yeah.
You know, the last half of my 30s, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's where you're at, isn't it? It's not the number necessarily, it's where you're at in time
Yeah.
in that. And you said to me off camera, your 30s were, you know, I don't know.
They're pretty nondescript. Like, I can't...
Yeah.
Compared to my 40s, I mean, my 30s, I moved... On my 30th birthday, I was at a wedding and I was just spent 5 years living in America and I was moving back to England. And I thought that I wanted to come back to England. And then I spent the next 3 years regretting that decision. So from 30 to
It's a
30...
long time to regret.
Yeah, because I didn't feel like I was myself. You know, at 30, by the time I was 30, I'd spent a sixth of my life in a different country and felt a bit like that was my home.
Right, yeah.
And when I came back, it was just, I was floundering. I had no money, I had no gigs. So it was like, right, adult mode very quickly. No kids, no serious relationships until about mid-30s. Then I got a serious relationship. But, you know, I got on the property ladder. I was
All the grown-up
I was doing
things.
stuff that most people in
Property
their late
ladder,
20s do.
got a
because-
Mondeo.
Yeah, Because I was just catching up. I didn't get a Mondeo. I got an Astra. Black one.
Bet it had alloys, didn't it?
Yeah. Of course it did.
He's from down south, really. I know he is.
So basically, I was kind of catching up because I did 2 degrees. I went to college twice. So all my 20s were taken up with basically being a student, twice as long as most people do it.
Yeah.
So then I got to 30, moved back home, really didn't enjoy being back home, felt lost, but at the same time made some big changes musically. I did a lot of practice when I got back because I had loads of time, so I kind of really practiced quite hard for those first couple of years.
Did you? You practiced?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then I started building my career, got to mid-30s, got into a relationship, which I thought was probably going to be, the one sort of thing.
Was it?
No.
Oh.
And then, so the second half of my 30s were definitely more serious than my first half.
It's weird talking to me because I look at my 20s and go, what was I doing in my 20s? Like from 18 to 25, what was I really doing?
I can tell you exactly what I was doing.
I was working in the supermarket. I was training all the time in the gym. Aspirations to be a gym instructor.
Yeah.
So all I wanted to do, be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Became a personal trainer. Thought I wanted my own thing. Started a boot camp. 30-ish, I was like, actually, maybe I need to be doing some stuff that I'm doing now.
It's almost like, we talk about midlife crisis, and I'm not sure if that's just a thing or it's just a growth spurt that we have to go through sort of thing.
Well, it says a good basis that's a hormonal phenomenon.
It sounds like you had yours 10 years early, basically, and I'm having mine quite late.
Maybe. I think, again, if we come back to this topic, I don't know. I look at my 30s and think, in 10 years, a lot has happened. The last 5 years.
Yeah.
I was in America 5 years ago, Paul, I think, possibly at an event. Possibly, maybe 5 years ago, yeah. And I was sat next to a chap called, I should know his name, Jamie. God, he's brilliant. He's a big coach out there. And he said to me, God, you've done a lot in 5 years, from 30 to 35, I think it was. Or 30 to 33 or something. He said, imagine if you do that again the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Like 5 years is a long time.
AJ
Roberts. What a nice bloke.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
For the things he's done in his life and achieved, he gave me his time. I was in that VIP area where a lot of people probably don't want to bother with you. But he gave me a good lot of time and some good wisdom, actually. And that was good. But anyway, I suppose, I think I was 5 years ago I was there. So the last 5 years have been quite transformative for me. But maybe, I don't know, maybe reaping the rewards of what I did the previous 5 years.
Yeah.
If that makes a little bit of sense. There's this element of, I can feel the sand slipping through my fingers of time.
Yeah.
Watching my little boy accelerate in development, off to school, and it's like, I'm not like, oh my God, where am I? I'm just like, oh my God, this is moving a bit quick. Come on, everyone slow down. I want to enjoy this. Where is it? Yeah. I didn't feel like at 30. 30, I was sat in a cottage with no toilet, going to the toilet in the village hall, with no back of the house, with just tarpaulin, tarp down, with very few windows, concrete floors, thinking, how the hell am I going to sort all this out? That's what I remember thinking.
Were you in a bad place then, or just
I'd just taken a few. Yeah, I was I wasn't very good in myself. Making a lot of bad decisions, doing a lot of stupid shit.
Right.
Probably about 29. Unhappy. But I suppose, was it easier to take risks then? I mean, I took some risks then. I spent the only money to replace windows and doors on this house on a mentorship to grow a business, and then left my job.
Yeah, but that's ace. That's really cool. Most people wouldn't dare to do that.
So it put me under some pressure. In essence,
but if you hadn't have done that, you wouldn't be here now. But you'd have some nice windows.
I would, yeah. I'm glad. I'm 100% glad I did it.
Do you think things change when, like, the risk is perceived differently in your head when the kids are there?
Would I have done it if I'd had kids? I wouldn't have been in that house if I'd had kids because I couldn't have been in that house. It just wouldn't have happened because you know what you're going to do for a little boy. You're going to go, yeah, I need the loo. Oh, let's drive down the village hall. It ain't going to happen. You know, and I suppose I was in a position where I could take those risks, but I've had people say to me in the past when I've spoke about this, yeah, but that's, you know, you never had kids or anything then. It's like, yeah, well, you wouldn't have either, but you probably still wouldn't have done it because we cling to safety and it would have been safe to stay where I was. But I suppose I'd had that moment of like, oh God, I've got to do something. And that was what it was. And it made me make it work, I suppose. It
burned your boats, basically.
Yeah.
So it had to work.
It was going to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
And the worst comes to worst, you just move, you know, I'd have lost a lot of money and moved back in my parents and I'd probably be going, oh, well, you know, it is what it is. And that's when I suppose the journey started. So I suppose turning 30 at that point, yeah, I remember driving around in an old beat up car. I wrote off this car. But you know, you can, now and again, it's not completely written off and you can buy it back. Do you know that? So I hit this parked car on the side of the road. And, which sounds terrible, but you know those instances where you'll come around a corner and you think, oh, I can get through there. There's a parked car and there's somebody coming the other way. But you're relying on them, you know, getting over a bit. So I was like, oh, here we go. Oh, they're not getting over. They're not getting over. They're not getting over. So I slowed down as much as I could. And as they went by, I tried to whip out, hit this car, knocked on the door. He was like, oh my God, thank you so much for knocking on the door, which was, I was like, I just smashed your car. But he was like so grateful I'd not just drove off.
Yeah.
But anyway, the insurance company said, yeah, it's a write-off. But you know, can I buy it back off you? Yeah. So they paid out 900 quid, I think.
Yeah.
And I bought it back for 450. So I made some money. And I drove that old written off KA for years like that. Do you know what I mean? While I was trying to build a business and stuff. And I probably bought money in where I could have bought a new car, but at the time, it was bigger fish to fry. So I was rattling around in that, yeah. And it was, I'm just reminiscing now, it was so bloody dingy.
But you're doing it with a massive smile on your face.
Well, I'm laughing because I remember a mate of mine making a chili and bringing it over and he was like, mate, I can't look at you any longer on that camera. And I was doing webinars on plasterboard. I'd have stacks of plasterboard in my living room and I had a bit of paper on there and a camera and doing webinars and stuff. And fucking people were buying stuff off me. I mean, I don't know how that's even possible. But I suppose they were like, oh, he seems to know what he's on about. Yeah. But that's how Unbreakable started.
Great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think that's sometimes why you get a bit frustrated when people refuse to maybe
do the work.
Yeah, invest in themselves a little bit. You're like, bloody hell.
Yeah, I get that.
But want the trappings.
I get that from teaching.
You're like, God, it's hard work. It's not.
You're giving them all the stuff and they don't do it.
I'm not even that. I'm like when you go, people will say to me, Si, I want to grow my business or whatever. And you're like, great. But it's almost like, don't want to make the sacrifice. Not can't. Some people can't. Yeah, but the ones who don't want to. It's like, well, you know, no. I was watching a little clip and the bloke asked Joe Rogan, how long did it take for this to become financially get your money back?
I saw that.
And he said, about 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, he was probably in a position where Joe Rogan, he was touring, yada, yada.
Oh, he had money.
But how many people are going to put 5 years into it before it becomes...
Hopefully us 3.
Yeah, but again, it's you look at somebody who's mega in shape. Yeah. That's not accidental.
No.
Someone who's really in shape. It's years of compounding work, training when you don't want to train, eating when you don't want to eat. And I suppose that's where it's the heavy lift now, as Mark might say. But you've got to want to do the heavy lift. You've got to embrace that. So I suppose my early 30s were that. Yeah. My late 30s have been, and I had to, like all of us, you have to overcome a fair few demons when you go in your closet, mentally. And I suppose that's where I'm going, oh, no, everyone, come on, everyone.
Just
slow
stop
down.
growing up.
Just stop growing up a little bit. I don't want this to go too quickly. But I've had this fear of it moving. But I also think late 30s can be a challenging time for men in general. I don't know how you obviously didn't feel that, but I think...
I didn't.
Or becoming a father, you've had that a bit later. That's been challenging.
Yeah, and it wasn't expected either, so it was very challenging. Yeah. And I took on 2 other children, which wasn't expected, and one of them has a specific set of needs. So that whole thing together was just like... And that's probably when I did that's when my transformation started, because it had to. There's no way that 40-year-old Mark would have coped with what he copes with now.
So, but you did it because you knew that.
Well, I wanted to do it. I wanted to change. Funnily enough, all the things that I was kind of looking for being a dad and being a family man, a lot of them have become a lot easier to make happen since.
Such as?
So I wanted more time to me. Now, you could say, well, how have you got more time now? I haven't physically got more time, but what I do is I manage my time better than I did.
Because you're forced to.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I used to train with Mark when I was, early 30s. And I had so little to do that I would sometimes go to the gym twice in a day, right? Because I was just literally just sat around doing nothing. One time I'd go and train, and then I'd go back at night and just sit in the jacuzzi or the sauna or whatever.
Yeah.
So much free time. I didn't use it properly. And now I've got the same 24 hours in a day, and it's still a work in progress because I could do better, but I don't waste much time now. So I've got the time.
Because you've learned to value your time more.
Because I have to, because I've got other kids, I've got other people that I have to look after, which I didn't before. So I always thought that having I wanted more money, right? Now you could argue, well, I was having to feed 5 people, going to give you more money. Well, it made me really work hard at pushing my business. So now my business is working better.
Yeah.
For less time involved in it.
I think sometimes my little theory on that is if you don't have to make it happen, most of you won't make it happen.
Of course not. Necessity is, what is it? What is it? Necessity is the precursor to, I don't know, I forget what the phrase is, but it's basically, if something's going to happen, it needs to happen. If it doesn't need to happen, it's not going to happen, basically.
For most of us, yeah, it's very hard to, that's why one of the most difficult positions to be in is when everything's good.
Yeah.
So, talk about it a lot. You know, it's like if you're going to move to that next level, whatever that is, it's a lot harder because you've got to let go of some stuff that's working.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Than it is to go, well, this ain't working, I've got to change it. That's not so hard because you've got no other option. Yeah. The only way is that way, so to speak. So we're just going that way, whatever, aren't we? Mm. No, so I'm interested actually, because what did you think, how did you think having a family would affect you in a negative way then before you had them?
So throughout most of my adult life, I never wanted to have children, and I didn't really want to settle down, really. I mean, I wanted to fall in love and marry the one and have all that kind of idyllic kind of like Disney stuff.
Disney? What kind of Disney? Not Lion King or?
No, I'm not into that. Just like the happy end, like meet a girl who floats my boat and,
one way
and fall in love. But I was never, I would say naturally like paternal, if babies were around, I wasn't like, oh, let me hold that. I was like, Jesus, keep me away from that thing. Because I saw, and it was the same with animals as a kid. So my sister's a massive animal lover. And when we were younger, we would go off on these holidays all over Europe and stuff. Really cool holidays because my dad had family members in the army, so they were stationed all over. So we travelled quite well, as I've told you before, as kids. We went to some cool places. And I remember my mum and dad always saying, if we ever got a dog or something like that, we wouldn't be able to go because we'd have to look after the dog. And I remember thinking, right, don't want a dog. No dog in my life. And then when I was about 12, we got a dog. And I was really pissed off for about 10 minutes until I met the dog. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. And I was kind of the same about kids. I was like, kids stop you from being free. They stop you from seeing your mates. They stop you from practicing. They cost you money, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, if I don't really feel this need to be a dad, why bother having a kid? Do you know what I mean?
And then you had one.
So when I met Lisa and she had children already, I thought, oh, well, I've dodged that bullet because I can be a stepdad. I can do that, because pressure's off there, really,
Just be fun.
Yeah, just be the cool stepdad sort of thing. And then my daughter came along, and it's like I've said to you before, the best thing that ever happened to me. And now I can't believe that I thought like that because I was totally wrong.
That's got to be life in general.
Yeah.
And then this happened.
Yeah. And I guess what?
I guess what? It was great.
I was wrong all along.
Yeah. what? I thought I didn't want that, but then it happened,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
life, isn't it? Mate, I'm just
Which is why I'm not
solventing my head off.
Which is why I'm probably not. I don't feel like the same kind of, oh my God, like time's passing so quick, because I guess in a way I've gone through that bit. I went through that in my mid to late 20s.
Yeah, now you're old.
And now I'm old, and now I'm like, now I'm on the downward trajectory,
Oh my
right?
God, you're selling it.
But in a good way, Like I'm looking
Downward.
forward to getting old, like in a good way, like to be well, to be fit, to be, to be free, and to live as long as I can, but obviously with all my faculties and not be, in a wheelchair or anything like that. But
It's amazing how our relationship to some of the things change as we do get older. Like I would say, I'm not training, so like I want to be able to play with my kids and all that. But I am very mindful of like, oh, I'm now trained. Like whereas before when I training was everything to me, and I trained for hours. Now very much I'm like, oh, it's not like how do I say this? I'm not training to be like, I'm not willing to spend an hour in the gym a night. It's like, I'm going to have to spend half hour in the gym.
Yeah.
And I could spend an hour, but I'm like, no, I want a half hour because that actually, I've got other things in my life that are important.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was in mega good shape, mid to late 20s, like that was the important thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Even with business, I've noticed this shift where I'm like, you know what? It's massive. 6 years ago, it would have been the most important thing in my life.
your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Now I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Good.
Don't get me wrong, I love it to pieces. And
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm always wanting to do better in there and all the rest of it. But it's like, no, it's not actually. And that wouldn't have happened without the arrival of.
Exactly.
So, what advice, if you could go back and give yourself some advice though,
Yeah.
at one of your toughest decades, what would it be?
Practice-
Where would you go?
practice more.
Where would you go? Where would you go?
Oh, which time would I go?
Where would you go? Who would you speak to in your past?
That's a great
Past you.
question. That's
Well, you've
gotta
got 2
be
minutes to
another
answer.
podcast. I don't know. I think I'd probably go to 28-year-old who's freaking out about being 30 and say, you know what, chill out, because getting old is actually quite cool and it's not as bad as you think.
Really?
Yeah. Because when you get older, like, I don't know, you understand life better. Your priorities become way clearer, as you've just said. And you don't have to have kids to understand what's important. Like, that's helped us understand it. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying if you don't have kids, you don't know what's important in life.
It's got a bit more
That's
experience.
not true.
A bit more.
Yeah, you've got more
a few
experience.
more miles on the
you
clock.
understand how people work, so you can protect yourself from stupid shit and get better at good shit. You learn more, and the main thing is the alternative to getting older is not very cool, is it? So and I've had a few friends recently from school, not good friends, but people that I knew growing up my age who died. I think I went to 4 funerals last year. So I'm like, fuck. At least I'm still here.
Yeah, something to be grateful for.
And that can sound cliched, I know it can, but
No, I think
it's true. And
it's
especially,
true.
as you know, I did nearly die when I was 21. I came very close to it. So I've got a different perspective maybe about getting older than maybe other people have. So yeah, I'm looking forward to growing old, to be honest. I mean, I don't want it to happen quickly, obviously. I'm not saying that, but
Don't wish your time away.
no, I'm not definitely not doing that. I'm trying to prolong my life, not speed it up.
Yeah. Here's you enjoying it. Here's me going, it's moving too fast, moving too fast, moving too fast.
Yeah, I've got a theory on why it moves faster. Because you've got
Come on then,
a
Stephen Hawking.
finite amount of space in your brain for your memories, right? So
Okay, yeah.
So the more memories you build up, yeah, you're using up your whole memory. So everything seems like it's moving faster because you've got less left. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
That's why I think it speeds up, because
think so?
you've got a finite amount and you're trying to cram more memories into that space. So what space you've got left feels like it's moving quicker. Because you've got less capacity for as many memories.
And that's your
why
theory.
When you're a kid, the 6 weeks holidays feels like a year to us now. 6 weeks, you're like, oh God, that's ages. It's like the whole summer. 6 weeks is nothing now as an adult.
No, it's not.
And I think like
I
don't know
might
about-
start giving myself a summer holiday.
We talk about that. We'd like to take August off, but that's
I
not
might,
happening this
and I
year.
would just want to do what I did as a kid.
What did you do?
Wake up and watch Rocky or something on tape. Watch Tintin. Tintin was a favourite of mine.
Yeah.
Kids don't know they're born now, though, do they? They can just go, I'm going to go on YouTube and watch what I want. Back in the day, I had to like wait for Channel 4 to like show something. Oh, Tintin's on! Get in! Like,
I
well-
would just get up and go on my bike and leave the house and not come back till it got dark.
Yeah, so we were like, go down the estate, get on the green,
Yeah.
play cricket on the green, play football on the
Yeah.
green, play anything that was on telly on the green,
Yeah.
tennis on the garages.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do kids do now? Play roadblocks.
Play Fortnite.
Yeah, you're missing out.
They are.
They're missing out
We've
all
said
the
that
good
before,
times. Yeah. So, getting old. We're getting old, aren't we? Fucking youngsters.
You are.
I am getting old quick.
How old are you?
38. 38.
Embrace it, mate.
I am embracing it. I wanted to talk to somebody because you don't really sit down and talk about that sort of thing much. You're like,
Yeah.
mate, I feel like it's speeding up. Is that natural?
I think everyone feels like that. I mean, you know. And that's why it's speeding up, I think, because of the memory thing.
I think it's speeding up because I'm enjoying it.
Well, that's a good thing then. That is a good thing.
When you're not enjoying something, it tends to drag, doesn't it?
So time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it does. I bet this episode has gone by in a heartbeat
You know,
for
I
people.
can't believe it's only been 6 minutes.
40 minutes. 41, 52. Mark,
To wrap it up, you're going to be 50 by the time we finish this.
I can feel that, yeah. Anyway, thanks for the chat, mate.
all right.
I think there's a key thing in here, though, because I can't leave something without wrapping it into some key thing.
Okay, some take-homes.
Yeah. But I think everyone goes through this, obviously, this feeling of the decades, the seasons of life and things changing and feeling like things are moving to life slipping away. I think that happens a lot.
Yeah, maybe at different periods, depending on who you are and what you do and where you're at.
One thing I would say is never too late to do something, is it? I get that question a lot, actually. Is it too late for me to change this or change that? You're like, no, never too late.
I would
Never too late
agree
to
with that.
start again. Start again tomorrow. Might start again when this episode finishes.
What are you going to do?
What am I going to do after this episode finishes? Go get some fresh air so I can come down from the solvent high I'm currently
It's bad now,
participating.
It's getting bad.
It's nice in a way. It reminds me of a building sign. I don't know why.
Well, it's the solvents in the products, isn't it? Probably.
People are listening to this like, am I really listening to this fucking nonsense? You are.
Yeah.
You are, yes. You're currently here. Mark's telling us to wrap up.
One day
Mark,
that's the
Mark was
facility.
being John Wayne then. He's just, he's lassoing. Wrap it up, people. Wrap it up. Okay, folks, we're out of here. See you next week.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning in.